Hey, good morning. It's Robin Fritz, and it's time for Coffee and Cosmos with Robin. So, again, good morning. Welcome to Seattle, Washington. My name is Robin Fritz, and it's time for Coffee and Cosmos with Robin. Now, this is the first time in a long time that I've done a Facebook Live, and I'm hoping to reach out and connect with people once again. It's been a long year for all of us. And today, really, I want to talk about how we create community in tough times and what we're looking at, and some tips on how we can be the best that we can be. So, when we look at how we live in life, right, and what we're doing, we can choose to follow other people, or we can choose to follow the way that mind, body, and spirit show us. And sometimes those are different. So the question then is how we look at that. So a lot of people will talk about choosing between fear and love, and that's always a great way of looking at things. But the question is, what is fear and what is love in the context of the times that we're living in right now, right? So wherever you are in the world, you may be dealing with wildfires like we have here on the west coast of the United States, or politics, or social unrest, and worldwide, of course, the virus and its implications for not only living healthily, but living in community, of being isolated and trying to figure out what community looks like for us right now. But fear is a lack of harmony. Fear is a way of giving in to things like conspiracy theories, to believing in things that aren't actual facts, but clinging to what makes us feel important, or part of an elite, or somehow have special knowledge. But asking ourselves, is that knowledge true, and where does it lead us, and how do we feel about it, and what vision of humanity is that showing us? So those are things that we look at in choosing between following what people dictate to us and showing the way for ourselves and our loved ones and our families. And love is really embracing connection and living life full out, right? So it means taking care of yourself and those around you, human and animals, right? Taking care of your community, looking at what you can do to give back in any little way, including just, being polite to somebody you pass on the street. I know, tough, wearing face masks and all of that, understanding what facial expressions are. And also, I'd like it, if you're watching, if you could type in and let me know if you can actually hear me. For a long time I couldn't do these videos because my sound wasn't working right. So if you could just let me know that you can actually hear, that would be great. And if you have any questions or anything that you'd like to chime in about, that's even better. I really appreciate it. Again, as we talk about choosing love and fear, and how we move through our life and how we look at the times that we're living in, when you're looking at choosing love, then you're looking at showing the way for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for your community, and really, in the energy that puts out into the world, that's contributing. Hi, Elaine. Hi, Kim. Good, great. Thank you. I'm glad you can hear. I appreciate that. I actually had to switch computers to get this to work today. So when I think of love and choosing love, it's embracing life full out. And I was just talking with my nephew not a half an hour ago, and we were talking about the tough times they experienced in Oregon and the wildfires, and thinking about the choice and what young people are going through now with the virus and the way the world is turned upside down. And yet people still have that time to share a joke, to share, hey, miss you, love you, or how are you really doing? Those are the things that show love and connection right now. And also to know what people believe in and why, and to decide what you believe and why. And I know a lot of us have been stunned by what different people think and feel, and the more bizarre it gets, and the more out there in terms of their politics, or what caused the virus, or how we're going to resolve the virus, and how we resolve social unrest, and who's a terrorist, and who's somebody who's simply going, hey, it's time for things to change. When you ask that, when you check into yourself, body, mind, and spirit, what does love tell you? Taking care of yourself, following the guidelines that we're all trying to live under to make everybody else safe, to understand what is causing other people to think and behave like they are, and try to find common ground to have a conversation. To choose between following blindly and showing the way requires us to educate ourselves, right? To dig deep. Now, there are a lot of media, social media, news media, and so on, and the difference between opinions, editorial writers, and reporting the facts. And also asking ourselves, what is behind that particular point of view? When we are choosing between showing and leading the way, one of the things we should think about is how we are in ourselves, in our sovereign beings. So remember that people can try to influence you, and maybe you can try to influence other people, but we are all sovereign beings. That means we are all complete within ourselves, like our own special country, and we take all our special countries and combine it into a city and a state and a country. But we as humans are hardwired for that kind of community, and the question now is to bring that community back together and talk about what our differences are, talk about how we can come together, talk about what love looks like in a brand new world and where that takes us. So when we're talking about creating community in tough times, what I'd like you to stop and think about is fear and love. What does fear mean to you? What does love mean to you? And what are some tips we can use to help us through these tough times? And one is to just breathe, right? Do you find yourself going out and about and just holding it all in, just taking a deep breath and not letting it out? Fortunately, I live in a beachside community in Seattle, Washington. We can all breathe again after 2 weeks of dense smoke that was as close to nuclear winter as any of us ever need to see, right? But those weeks, we all noticed that we were just holding ourselves in. And we've been doing it all year, right? Waiting for the next thing to happen. And instead, let it out. Now, I'm fortunate that our street here is closed and we can go out. And every day I'm out with my dog. And that's my connection time with nature, with myself, with my dog, and even with the neighbors that I pass on the street. It's my time to breathe. So what is your time to breathe? What do you pull in? How does that affect you? And breathe really deep. Let those lungs fill up with healthy air. And it's okay that we're not perfect. It's okay that life is in flux. It's how we get through it that matters. If you're having a tough time, reach out, right? So the next point would be to engage. Engage in conversation with those that you know think like you do and those that don't, and try to find out why. Why are people thinking what they're thinking? Share your ideas. Defer judgment. Listen compassionately. Ask questions. I've asked people and I've heard responses that are simply not true, and I ask myself, how could somebody believe that? And digging deep to find out what their fears and insecurities are may not help them change their mind, but it may help you learn what other people are thinking and figure out a way that we can come back and find common ground, right? And be more open-minded and listen to each other. That's community, and that's what we've lost in large part in the United States. But you see it in other countries as well. People have gone to the extremes, and it's time to come back to the middle. And that means that we need to evolve, right? We need to continue to evolve. And we're evolving in tough times, and that's going to make us stronger and better in the long run if we keep at it, remembering to keep grounded and balanced, remembering to keep body, mind, and spirit moving forward, looking at growth opportunities. That staying balanced and grounded will help keep us moving forward, connecting to the elements, earth, air, fire, and water, connecting to the mother, the planet. Release the crap. Release what doesn't serve you. Acknowledge it. I'm afraid of this. I don't like that. I'm impatient with this. Just this morning I was telling my nephew, I'm bored. And I thought, God, why did I say I was bored? I don't know. We had a conversation about what being bored looks like. And it was fun. So embrace the power to create. And my gosh, there's so much that we can create now. A healthy environment to live in, true. But if you're alone, what can you create for yourself that reminds you to keep moving forward? Some of the most difficult periods in human history are the times when great art has been created. Literature, paintings, music, and just the opportunity to connect with friends and family. Those of you that have people around you, think about people like me. Since March, I've lived with my dog and my cat. I've seen people on Facebook and on Zoom, and tea occasionally with neighbors outside, and that is it, right? That is not community in the way that we have lived for many, many years, and it's tough for everybody. So think about how we can evolve and create and hold love to continue to inspire ourselves and boost ourselves when we're feeling down. And finally, choose. You have to make a choice. You have to choose between what's there and what's not there, and what you want and what you don't want, right? Learn to know yourself. These are the opportunities that you go, wow, okay, what? So I don't want to make light of anybody who's suffering from COVID, because I know what being a long hauler is like. I've been a long hauler for a flu from years ago. It is not pleasant. Many, many people have died, but some of us have also learned things about ourselves that we didn't know before. And my girlfriends and I are calling it COVID weirdness, where we suddenly realize that the lives we were leading, we wanted to change, that we wanted to share them with another person. And I've been happily single for 30 years, and all of a sudden it's like, well, maybe not. So enjoy the run, right? Choose to learn to know yourself a little bit better, and why you made the choices you've made, and what changes you would make when things open up again. Study your history, know the differences, know what changed society in the past, and learn to show the way rather than follow the way. Anyone who's here at Home Times, anyone who's followed my radio show in the past, my Facebook page, The Practical Intuitive, who's learning to use your intuition, you're all showing the way for yourself and your families. So our times aren't easy, but we were never promised that life would be easy. When our souls chose human bodies, we knew only that we were going to continue to try to love ourselves. And that's a tough job. It's even tougher in tough times. Or is it? Maybe it's actually been easier, right? Choose love over fear. Here's one thing that will help. Fluorite. This is a beautiful piece of fluorite. I can only see a tiny little part of the video down there, so I'm hoping, there we go. This is the polished end. This is the unpolished end. Fluorite is a great crystal for grounding and balancing. You can buy little pieces of it. So I want to thank you for joining me today. I'm going to try to make sure my video continues to work so that I can come back and be here every week at 11 o'clock on Monday mornings. If you have issues, questions you'd like me to cover, let me know at my Facebook page, The Practical Intuitive, Robin M. Fritz. And if you like the video, please like this page, all the Om Times pages, and my own page. And again, send a question, send a topic that you'd like us to cover together, and then we can tune in again next week and continue to build community here. There are huge changes coming in the world in the next few months. Get ready. It's going to be awesome. Take care, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining me.